Fastball swing and a miss, the throw over to second base, and the tag is going to be in time. It's a double play. Strike him out, throw him out. Breaks off speed, that's hit well. Deep shot, deep right field. How about that? A two-run jack. 3 balls, 1 strike, and the pitch. Line drive into left field, base hit. Isaac Hill's going to score, staying up, and Ryan Severns walks it off. It's a 7-6 walk-off win for your Medford Rogues, and Medford takes game 1. Hello and welcome to another episode of Plank Talk. My name is Bryan Welch, the Director of Broadcasting for your Medford Rogues. Happy to have you aboard wherever you may be tuning in, and welcome to episode 5 of Plank Talk. Great conversation last week with Dave May, and more importantly, we're here at the ballpark at Harry and David Field. Opening day is right around the corner between Seattle and Medford, weather permitting. If we do get going on Thursday, we'll have the Awesome Pool Guy on deck show at 6:15. First pitch scheduled at 6:35 p.m. Don't forget to get tickets at medfordroguesbaseball.simpletix.com. But also, more importantly, we have a special guest joining us today. How about this? The returner from last year, the catcher, Chris Ortiz, joins the program. We go one-on-one with Chris Ortiz right after this on Plank Talk.
Planning to move? Choose Pods, the most awarded container moving company. Whether you're moving across town or across the country, Pods brings the container to you. Keep it as long as you like and pack at your own pace. When you're ready, we'll take it to your new home or store it at a secure pod storage center until you need it. And best of all, you don't have to do the driving. Trust Pods with your next move. Book at pods.com today.
Welcome to episode 5 of Plank Talk. My name is Bryan Welch, the Director of Broadcasting for your Medford Rogues. We are in the press box here at Harry and David Field. T-minus 24 hours until opening day for 2026 between Seattle and Medford. And hey, we are at the ballpark, and we have a baseball player right here. How about this? A returner from last year, Chris Ortiz out of Stanislaus State, joins the program today. Yep. Chris, how are you, my friend? Welcome back to the Rogue Valley.
Thank you. Yeah, it feels great to be back.
You know what? You were a great guy last year. We've been talking about you on the podcast, not one, but all three of the episodes we talked about how great you are behind the dish. It's great to see you back here in the Rogue Valley.
Thanks. I appreciate that.
And it's going to be a lot of
wait.
And you know what? Head coach Kevin Olmstead was talking about this during his podcast for episode 2, talking about your leadership behind the dish, but also teaching the young guys who are young at catching. What's it like being that teacher, so to speak, this season?
I think for me, it's more like I just kind of try and do my thing, try and play my type of baseball. And if somebody wants to know something, I am more than welcome to talk about it. But I think it's very important to not try and force or be like, hey, come over here. I want to talk to you about something, because then it just feels like you're overstepping. They've played baseball for a long time as well. So it's just more of how would you like to try this? Instead of being hey, I think this is better.
Year 1, you were here with the Rogues. Mm-hmm. You were at Sonoma State. Then Sonoma State, in the middle part of the athletic calendar, they decided to call it quits. No more sports in the athletic department. Yeah. We touched on this last year during the Rogues pregame show, talking about that. And it's been a year, but it still feels like kind of a shock with Sonoma State not having athletics.
Yeah. Yeah, there's still so much around that might be I don't know, shady, or it was just odd. It was very fast, very quick. They would try to say, there weren't quick decisions being made behind the scenes, but then you're like, well, how long did you talk about it? Because to us, you just brought it up. So, but they have talked about bringing sports back. So it was I guess, a couple of year break.
And we are talking to Chris Ortiz, one of the returners for your Medford Rogues. Medford getting ready for first pitch against Seattle on Thursday. Hopefully with the rain, hopefully that will not happen. Hopefully the rain will stay away in the Rogue Valley. But last year, what did you learn about yourself as a player in the Rogue Valley?
Ooh, that's a good question. I feel like I learned that I do play, and this might be for a lot of guys, I play better when I'm playing every day. Because it's easier to kind of everything's fresh. What you did the day prior, you kind of build off it the next day without putting a lot of pressure on it, instead of playing a weekend and then now you got a whole week of just being all right, well, next weekend I'm going to try and do this. So I like that aspect of playing here every day, and honestly, I like it's not always mechanical. there's a lot of times where you do things right and you miss hit a couple balls. And then when you have a whole week to sit on it, I'm kind of a guy that likes to think about the game, and I'm just like dissecting my swing. I'm watching other guys swing. I'm like, I think I'm going to try this all week at practice. And now the next weekend, when it might have been a timing issue, now it's a timing issue because I never addressed that, and it's also a mechanical issue. Where playing here every day, it was kind of like you didn't have time to like switch up every day, every week, every minute. It's kind of like, all right, well, this is how I swing. This feels comfortable, and I had a really good summer, and I think it benefited from me just trusting. All right, well, I'll go get him this next day.
And you were that catcher last year that you could be reliable behind the dish, but also you get a chance to work with your battery mates, Dylan Finelli, for a second year for opening night 2026. How cool was that to have Dylan Finelli back? And he was there first, and then you got the call to come back.
Yep.
And what's that like to have that, not that bromance, but that brotherhood of the battery?
You can call it bromance too. Yeah, a little bit of both, I guess. He was one of the first guys to text me, and one of the first guys that I was going to reach out to. So just, hey man, coming back, running it back. How you feeling? I was texting him all throughout my trip up the drive, and it's nice. It's nice when you know somebody, you know that you're going to go somewhere that you know somebody. Everybody likes. I'm one of the guys too. I like going places and trying things, and but knowing that you have somebody there to where, well, good or bad, this guy at least knows what I'm capable of. You know what I mean? So it's nice.
And we talked about this before we went live, about your host family. You had some banana bread?
Oh yeah. Yep. I had some banana. I love my host family. This is my second year here. I requested to have them again. Shout out to the Stainbrooks. They take great care of me, and they knew it was a funny story. I have a little bit of a routine. I'm not as superstitious as some, but basically I feel like every day, every game, I'm trying to eat similar things, especially if I feel good. And we get about 45 minutes between BP and the next, game start. And those 45 minutes, I usually go to the gas station and I grab a quick carb that I have like mid-game and a protein.
Okay.
And I was always buying this gas station banana bread, and I didn't think anything of it. I was just like, this tastes good. It's carbs. And I tell them, they're asking me, what do you do in that 45 minutes? I tell them that, and they're like, banana bread from the gas station? They thought that was an absolute crime. They thought it was banned in a couple states or something. And I was like, it's good. And ever since then, they make me the most delicious banana bread. So Grandma K.
Okay.
Makes great banana bread.
Do you drink that with milk? Do you drink that with coffee? What are you washing it down with?
You know what? Probably Fairlife milk, chocolate milk. I'm a big milk drinker. I drink just straight up milk. So it could be milk. 2% milk. I'll go through a gallon a day. I don't care.
And last year, you were a great guy, especially at the dish. When you were a great hitter. But after you had what specific Empire League play? First time being in there. What did you learn about the PEL?
It felt like you're seeing similar arms every day. Everybody threw pretty well. Everybody threw hard. They had good breaking ball. They could land stuff in any count. So there wasn't very many gimme at bats. So if you wanted to think about it as like trying to take advantage of the ones you did get, or taking it like, okay, well, I know that this is going to be competitive, so might as well go into it thinking competitive thoughts myself. There's no day off. So you could either be like, man, there's no day off, this is exhausting, or there's no day off, so I never get unlocked. And for me, it felt like I could stay locked in every day, have a great time, have fun. This is a great environment. The PEL is a fantastic environment. So.
And I know one of the trips that you're really excited to go back to is Healdsburg. Not because, besides Recreation Park, but also that's where Sonoma State is, and that Roanoke Park. We were talking about that last year, about being back at where you were at school. Is that going to bring back memories when you go back there in July?
Maybe some memories. To be honest, it's not that exciting to me. It was just another little chapter in my life. And so going back, you can revisit a chapter every now and then, but I'm not going to dwell on anything or kind of, have that affect any of the weekend, positive or negative.
Besides our environment here at Harry and David, any other environments you're excited to go back to? this summer?
You know what? It's not going back to, but I don't think we went to Solano.
We did not go to Solano.
So we're going there this year.
That's right.
I'm pretty excited for that. I
Okay.
have buddies on that team.
And also, we go to Marysville on that road trip at Bryant Field. That's going to be a very fun game to close out
Yeah.
that week-long road trip in the Golden State of California. And you played in the Golden State again. You were at Stanislaus State. You were previously at Wichita.
Yeah.
What was you're almost a shocker.
I know. I'm an older guy, and with that comes other complications within, eligibility and stuff. And so I had a good summer. I was privileged enough to have them reach out or kind of talk, and that was the plan. And I was enrolled. I had an apartment. Turns out I took a gap year after my sophomore year of JUCO because I had a death in the family and there was some stuff going on. And when I took that gap year, they told me I'd get that year back for eligibility. And apparently I took that gap year after the fall, so it was almost kind of a gap semester in a way. I had to do, withdrawal forms, a lot of paperwork to be eligible that next year because normally you wouldn't be. It didn't affect me for a few years, and it kind of came back to bite me when I was there because we found out that the NCAA only credited me one semester left to compete at a Division II since I was at that Division II in the fall, and some stuff. There's so much muddy, paperwork to be done there, and they tried pretty hard. We did almost like 6 different forms to try and keep me playing. But turned out, there was just nothing they could do. And so basically I had one semester left to compete at a Division II. And so I had some great friends reach out at Stan and said, come up here, play. That's where I went.
How do you turn that into a positive? Because we were talking about this at the last series of the season last year at Arcata for the Humboldt Crab Series, talking about how excited you were to be going to Wichita State. How do you get that mindset back when you go to Stanislaus State?
You know what? I think it's okay to say that some things happen that aren't a positive. You know what I mean? It's kind of like not everything in your life has to be a positive. I've been through some tough things as all of us have, and sometimes it's really hard to find positive out of those things. But I think it's important to maybe instead of trying to find the positive, trying to find what you can do, and just accept a negative and be like, man, that sucks, because I was really excited. And for me, I guess if I were to try to find something, what I turn it into is I get another year of playing with some guys I really enjoy being around because I had friends up there. That was one thing that I could say, okay, well, at least I'm playing with guys that I know that I'll make memories with. I'll get some reps, and not everyone's privileged enough to even play, so you can't harp on the negatives too much.
We are talking of Chris Ortiz, a returner for this 2026 Medford Rogues squad. He was at Sonoma State. You were at Wichita for a bit. Then you go to Stanislaus State, kind of a little bit at home because Stanislaus State's in the same conference, which Sonoma State was in. So kind of a little bit of old home week because you had Herman Luna on the team and a guy who's maybe on the Rogues this year. I mean, a little bit, you talked about that familiarity. So I guess a lot of familiarity being at Stanislaus State and Turlock of conference play.
Oh, yeah, definitely a lot. I mean, field trips that I've been doing for numerous years. So a part of me was like, all right, sweet, an opportunity at Wichita be great. New things, new competitive baseball. But back to Stan is the opposite. Okay, familiar baseball, familiar, trips, road trips, teams, pitchers, the way guys pitch to you. So there was that, I guess, positive. I kind of knew what I was getting into that year.
So from Roanoke Park to Turlock in the upper part of the Central Valley in California, farming community. Buddy of mine actually graduated from Stanislaus State this week. As of recording this, what was it like living in Turlock?
Small. It's a smaller little place. I don't mind that at all. I don't really go out. I've never really been a partier. I don't drink. I don't smoke. I don't do anything like that. So I don't mind a small town feel. I mean, I usually just try to find the nearest Target and the nearest grocery store. And I'm like, okay, a gas station, maybe some good food spots. There was this place called Fire Wings right underneath base. It was like sharing a parking lot with the Vistas, which was the apartments I was staying at. And that was great because, It was good and bad. It was amazing food, delicious, cheap. They got to know me really quick. I was there every day for a week, uh, and they knew my order. But man, was it convenient! And so I was eating a lot of wings.
So what are you doing with the wings?
They would just throw them on. They throw them into the chicken bowl. It would be like chicken, French fries,
Okay.
ranch, cheese. I would usually get buffalo and an extra side of ranch, and they would give me a little free drink because I was there so often. So sometimes I'd come in and I'd be like, "Hey, can I just get a drink?" And they'd be here, and they give me a cup. So they're really awesome people. Very recommend that spot if you are in Turlock.
And I've known you for 2 years now.
Mm-hmm.
I never knew you wanted to go to Target. So what are you getting at Target?
Milk, full circle. The beginning, yeah, milk. Um, ah, yeah, a lot of milk. Damn.
No clothes, no food.
No clothes. Maybe because if I wanted to get food or groceries, I like Grocery Outlet
Okay.
because they have very affordable grass-fed ground beef, and so that's another plug. Grocery Outlet for anybody who wants to get cheap ground beef. Uh, Eggs, milk, all that stuff kind of comes from, or that stuff comes from a grocery store, and then Target would be like the quick Target run. I'd get like the half-gallon chocolate Fairlife milk, maybe like some snacks. I love Oreos, something like that. Any bathroom supplies. Sometimes I'd go there just for an energy drink.
Mm.
Yep.
So a little bit of everything at Target.
Yeah. Target is just the universal. Is that there? Okay, good. I know I can at least spend some time somewhere.
Yeah, we are talking of Chris Ortiz. I know that your mom and dad and your sister made the
Oh
trek
yeah.
up here last year. What was it like to have them to be back up here in the Rogue Valley for a couple of games this summer?
I mean, they're so excited. My mom kept talking to me about how excited she is for this to get here going. Uh, I had much less of a break than
Mhm.
last summer. Um, I only was home for maybe a week, and even in that week, she was like, "I can't wait for you to not leave, but get going, get playing baseball again." I was like, "Yeah, I'm the same way." The negative when I'm gone is my mom when I'm home makes me chocolate chip cookies all the time, and
Okay.
so when I'm not home, that's a little unfortunate. But
Mm.
the
So
host family does a great job.
so is how big are the chocolate chip cookies?
She has her own little recipe. They come out to probably like this big, I'd probably say, and I eat maybe 20 of them
With the farrow with the milk, right?
with the milk. Everything comes back to milk.
And you brought up a good point, Chris, about you being in the CCAA, having familiar opponents,
Yeah.
being at different familiar road trips. How tough is the CCAA from a competitive standpoint?
You know what? I would say from what I've seen in the PEL with a lot of Division One arms and what I've seen in the CCAA, I would feel just from the average, it would be almost like it would be like a tab below everything.
Mhm.
So if you ranked things like, okay, a great CCAA arm would be a good like D1 arm.
Gotcha.
And then a good CCAA arm would probably be like uh, a mediocre, maybe slightly less than mediocre D1 arm. And then mediocre CCAA would be a bad D1 arm. And then vice versa. So like a great D1 arm would be like all-American CCAA pitcher, but a good D1 would be a great CCAA. So everything's just kind of like one tab. When I was here, um, it's just more consistent here. You're seeing more consistent good pitching. Where in the CCAA, you see some good arms and then you see some bad arms.
Mm.
Yeah.
And the CCAA was won by Cal State San Bernardino, and a good friend of ours, Garrett Bardo, was on that
Yeah.
team. How cool was that to see him
That was
get that hoist the trophy?
oh man, what a year Bardo.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah. I mean, we played him at his place, and he hit, I think, 2 homers against us. I was like, round of the base. I hit one, so that I had my little moment too. But yeah, whenever he was around the bases, I'm like, typical Bardo.
Garrett Bardo played for the Rogues last summer, and he's gonna be a great guy for playing for San Bernardino.
Mm-hmm.
And you played a little bit of third. You played a little. You were behind the dish.
Yeah.
Are we gonna see that this summer? We're gonna see you split your time there.
That's up to Kevin. We'll see. I think he told me I'll be catching maybe 70% of my time, and then maybe playing some defensive work somewhere else, just if I'm hitting, keep me in the lineup. Maybe a little bit of third. My buddy came up with me that you mentioned earlier
Yeah.
from Stanislaw Kean.
Yeah.
He's gonna be playing a lot of third.
Yeah.
It sounds like so. Uh, but he even talked about throwing me in the outfield somewhere sometimes. So you might see me roaming around center.
Have you played in the outfield in your playing career?
I have never center. I have. I've played like left.
Okay.
I've never really played right. For some reason, on that right side of the field, I've never played much of.
Mm.
Except this last spring, I played a ton of first base, which was completely new. But I felt pretty comfortable there.
And you were playing at first base. Is that kind of like a fish out of water?
No, just since with my experience at third,
Mm.
it's kind of a corner.
Gotcha.
So the only thing that was different was now all the right-handed ground balls that I would get at third that are kind of hooked typically. A right-hander, if he pulls one to third, it might be hooked a little bit.
Mm.
So that's going to my right from a righty. So it's like that way. Now, if I'm at first, it's the opposite. If a right-hander's hitting me a ground ball, he's slicing it, so it's going this way to him. So now it's going to my left. So there's like a slight little like literally just a flip of kind of the action that ground balls had. But other than that, it was okay. And then catching, that's my job, catch the ball. So first base, your job is to catch the ball. I think that's why you see so many big leaguers kind of when the catcher's just starting to get old, he just goes to first. It's not that bad of a spot to pick up.
Mm. And then you talk about being a catcher. I know that we were talking about your academic goals last year.
Mhm.
Can we talk about that a little bit?
Yeah, I graduated.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah, I have a bachelor's in psychology, a little focus in psychobiology, and I was pursuing a minor in comms communications.
Okay.
So.
And you want to get your master's? What's the plan there?
No, I'm done.
Okay.
I'm done with school. I have spent so much more time in school than I even originally wanted. I was not a big school guy going through high school. I had so many absences in high school. I had my senior year alone, I had 260 something absences. They told me that before. They were like, "You're not going to be able to graduate high school." And I was
Wow.
like, "What can I do?" And they're like, but the one class I would always show up for was my TA. I was a TA for the front office.
Okay.
And so I kind of had an in, it's always about who you know. I had an in with the front office, and they were like, "Yeah, Ortiz, you have 264 absences. How did you even do that?" I'm like, "I don't know. I was just always, I guess, absent." And they were like, well, there's not enough Saturday school for you to make this up." And I was like, "Well, I want to graduate. It's unfortunate, my grades are good enough." And they're like, "We don't know how your grades are good enough, but the point was Saturday school takes off 4 absences, and there was only 2 weeks left, so 2 Saturday schools, and eight's a lot less than 260 something." And they're like, "How about you just go to this next one and we'll waive them?" And I was like, "I can do that." And it happened to be that was one of my favorite classes I've ever been in.
Really?
Saturday school. All my buddies were in there.
And all your buddies are here in the Rogue Valley, and you're about to begin your second year with the Rogues. And we talked about what you learned about yourself last year, but how excited are you to be back here in the Rogue Valley?
I'm extremely excited. You can never learn enough about yourself. So whatever I learned last year was great. This year's going to be great. I have no doubt. I love playing in front of the fans. I mean, the fan base here is fantastic. And then, brought some friends with me.
Yeah.
I already know Finelli. Luna's back. I brought Kean. And then all the other guys that I've met so far seem great. I'm excited.
And let's talk about this 2026 team. You are in the trenches with these guys.
Yeah.
What are you seeing from this 2026 Rogue squad?
It's early.
Okay.
It's been like a day and a half. But from what I've seen, we're ready to get after it. And that's good. There's not like a lazy vibe around, which is good. Because that's the easiest way to kill a talented squad is everybody kind of feeling a little lazy. So I enjoy that. I would say, we always like being an offensive squad. I know Kevin's going to do a great job teaching, a little bit of offense. So hopefully, first thing we're doing again, position wise, base stealing, So hopefully we'll see some of those.
Did you ever? I know you took a lot of stuff that Kev taught you from last year. Did you did you use some of the techniques he taught you base stealing wise in the spring?
I wanted to. I would have loved to show it more. I was trying to tell the coach I'm not blessed with like crazy just raw speed, right?
Yeah.
I might have been a little quicker, in past years, but catching just has done a little bit of a number on my legs.
Gotcha.
I'm not slow by any means, but I'm not like the guy that you'd be like, okay, this guy's
Yeah.
quick. But with Kevin, and before that at Sonoma, one of it was Kevin's mentor as a
Yep.
coach. He coached the last year at Sonoma. They teach a great way to steal bases. They're very, they know a lot of what they're talking about. And so I was at Stan and I was trying to tell him, I can steal. I can take bags. Like, just give me the steal sign. And it took probably, I think, I don't know the exact day, but I think I only had about 3 weeks of the last two-ish of the last weeks of the season where I started getting the green light, and I stole 3 bags. I mean, like I could have been doing that all year. Um, you know, there's a lot. I learned a lot, but I could have been doing it more.
And you talk about being able to have those stolen bases, but you're back here in the Rogue Valley. You're with the same host
Mhm.
family. But I know you're talking about the gas station. What are your go-to snacks besides the banana bread?
A Pop Tart. I
Any
love it, but
flavor?
I tried for a while. I was trying any new flavor that Pop Tart. So Pop Tart and Oreo come out with these random flavors, just the most diabolical stuff you can think of. And I always make sure to try one because I'm like, why not? Somebody approved this, so I'll try it. Pop Tart. I would say if I'm trying to just be something I know is gonna be good, I love a chocolate chip Pop Tart.
Okay.
It's a little more on the plain side, I guess, because it doesn't actually have frosting on the top.
Mm.
But if I want one with frosting, it probably, I mean, you cannot go wrong with s'more. The s'more Pop Tart is the most, I mean, that's my childhood.
That is a good choice for the Pop Tarts. Going
Yeah.
back to the obscure flavors, what's the weirdest flavor that you've had from Pop Tarts?
From Pop Tarts, mm, okay, it's not like Pop Tart does a lot less crazy stuff than Oreo does.
Yeah, okay.
So I would say Pop Tart is probably like, I don't know, like hot fudge sundae. Like like, okay, what does that, am I going to be tasting the hot fudge? Is it going to be chocolate? Because the
Yeah.
picture shows vanilla ice cream. So is it going to be vanilla ice cream? It's really hard to think, what is a hot fudge Pop Tart going to taste like? It's more on the chocolate side. But Oreo, I mean, they came out with a Sour Patch Oreo. Who's going to eat? I mean, no offense if you're eating some sour Oreos, but like that's not what I'm going to be dipping Sour Patch Oreos in my milk. But I'd try it, and it was all right.
I
Wouldn't have it again.
I bet this is probably a rhetorical question, but you probably drink a lot of milk with those Pop Tarts, I guess.
Yeah, I don't need to drink a lot of milk before a game because it might make me feel a little weird.
Gotcha.
But
Away from the field, like on an
away
off
from the
day.
field, I'll just drink milk in general. I'll just pour a glass of milk
Gotcha.
just to sip on.
And before I let you go, Chris, I know that your roommate last year with the Rogues, Trevor Smith,
Yeah.
guy was playing great at Washington State, got to be a part of that championship squad for the Cougars, the Mountain West. How cool is that to see your roommate
Yeah.
play at the highest level with the Mountain West?
No, it's great. I'm super proud. It's really cool to see. I keep up on his Instagram quite a bit. It pops
Gotcha.
up.
Gotcha.
Him and Mason.
Mhm.
Mason
That's
Pro
right.
is another guy who's playing here. I'm really glad that they were able to, so young. They're
Yeah.
young guys.
Yeah.
They got their whole career ahead of them. It's really cool to see them succeeding so early.
And I know that we talked about you being in the Rogue Valley again. Any other places you want to go to, sightseeing wise?
Around here,
Yeah.
I don't know. Is there any Target further away from here? Okay, I don't really. Okay, I do go with my family. I went last year to Hell's Gate, I think.
Okay.
The
Jet boat.
jet
The
boats.
jet
That's
boat.
plenty of fun. So I'll
Okay.
probably do that again.
So, yeah, how wet did you get last year of Hellgate?
Uh, pretty wet.
Okay.
Pretty wet. We try to keep my mom and the parents. I went with Trevor actually and his
Gotcha.
family. It was a lot of fun. They were in the middle, and my mom hates just those kinds of rides, and she was a little nervous, but she ended up enjoying it. But they got soaked. They got soaked.
So Hell's Gate is the jet boat experience down the Rogue River. And
Yeah.
it's a lot of fun. I've done it a couple of times. You never know where you're going to sit at in the boat, but you definitely know you're going to have a great time.
Yeah. And we have the dinner after.
Mhm.
There's a dinner experience. It was a lot of fun.
And it's going to be a lot of fun in this 2026 season. I know you talked about some improvements some stuff you want to work on. What do you want to work on this season?
Um, I mean, you can always work on being consistent and being still minded helps with that. I've done a really good job, I
Mm.
think, in the last couple of years of my career of not letting things kind of get to me emotionally. It helps with behind the dish. Catching is a spot where your main priority, if you break it down, is giving back. You're trying to
Gotcha.
give back to the team. And the better you can do that, the better the catcher you can be. Even like one of the things that you're looking at as a catcher, receiving. That's gotten super big in today's game. Well, really, on its face, it's really just you're trying to make the pitcher look better. So my best thing that I can do is probably make the pitcher look better. So that's big. You want to receive, you want to block well. Very rarely is it like personal, gain where I get to just show off an arm. Be like,
Gotcha.
Hey, watch this and throw the ball hard. So being still-minded helps with maybe I get out, maybe I strike out, maybe I have a bad at bat, maybe I even make an error, but play's done, moving on. It's very big, and you can never work on it too much. Breathing right, making sure you're where your feet are at. That's another thing that Sonoma taught me really well is where your feet are at. So many guys get kind of next play, and they're all worried. Being where you are in life will help a lot.
Now, that is well said. You want to give a shout out to anybody? Your mom, your dad?
Oh, my mom, my dad, my family, my best friend. I'll give a shout out to everybody. I have 12 very important people in my life. I just said 12 because that's probably around what it is. But
Gotcha.
I would individually shout all of them out if I had the time. But, I would love majority of why my dream is to keep playing baseball is to give back to everything my family has put into me. So, yeah, I'm a very big family person.
Well, that's well said, my friend. Chris, always a pleasure, my friend. Good luck this weekend. Let's have some fun up in the Rogue Valley.
Yeah, I'm excited.
That's Chris Ortiz joining us on Blink Talk. When we come right back after this, final thoughts. Opening day right around the corner. More after this on Blink Talk. Great conversation of Chris Ortiz today for episode 5 of Plank Talk. The season is finally here. T-minus 24 hours until liftoff of this 2026 campaign between Seattle and Medford, weather permitting in the Rogue Valley. If we do get going, we'll get going at 6:15 on the Awesome Pool Guy on Deck show, and the broadcast will be on the same channel you're watching Plank Talk, so hit that like and subscribe button for all Medford Rogues content. Don't forget to get your tickets at medfordroguesbaseball.simpletix.com. Special thanks to Chris Ortiz for joining the program. My name is Bryan Welch saying goodbye. Have a good evening. Thank you so much for watching and listening to Plank Talk. As always, go Rogues.